Hello, and welcome to The Queen's Blades, a Tales of the Valiant actual play show set in the Eberron campaign world. We finished! Hooray!
Yay!
Victory was yours. And we have now a bunch of questions from the audience about the campaign we just did that were submitted over on our Discord. Link to that in the description of this video. And we're going to go through them. We got a bunch. So we're just going to dive right in because most of the little preliminary stuffs that I might ask are kind of already dealt with. So our first question comes from Trevor. All players, do you feel like you took greater risks based on knowing that this was a shorter time frame?
I can start. I did not. That's my simple answer when I looked at that was no. Every session to me is a risk. So it was just the same as usual.
Well said. Well said. I definitely did. I absolutely did. I tried to die from the outset. I was just looking for Philip to kill me.
Understood. I'll try harder next time.
No, because next time we're back. I don't know. That's Blades and Banners. No.
I think I did. I definitely did in terms of the fewer decisions I made about the character going into it. It was much more of like, oh, here's the 3 things I've decided about her, and then we'll find out. Like, and knowing that I could confidently live with whatever choice happened in game because it was a shortened campaign. If I ended up hating it, then we could change it next one.
Right. I have to say, as someone who has spent a long time beating the drum of you need to always have a session 0, the fact that, I mean, I don't know how much anyone decided in their head, but the fact that I knew very little about your characters going in, beyond the character sheets. I knew the character sheets quite well because I helped Mia build hers, and I built Murray and Taliesin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I had a blast with it. Like, I don't know when I decided that Taliesin had a nemesis. And the delightful
Soulmate?
thing of I know, and then Colin yes-anded me into / romantic interest.
I just love flirting with you so much.
Colin immediately went, did you say romanticy? Enemies to lovers?
Well, that's because I didn't, to answer where you're leading us, I knew nothing. I didn't know Taliesin's name when we started. We sat down and I used a name generator and didn't like it. And Philip was like, well, if this is what you're hunting, and there's Taliesin. Like, I created his accent choice the moment I started speaking. It's the exact opposite of what I had thought, because I for those viewers, I wasn't even committed to the one shot until like the night before we filmed. And so I was like, we'll see what happens. I did improv. And there was one moment from a movie that just felt like the situation we were in, and I went, oh, this is my entire character now. I figure it out next time I'm asked to talk.
It really bothers me how good you are at improv. Like, you know, I hate you in the most loving way, Colin, but I have forever thought you had all of these things prepared. Whenever
That's the
I've watched
joy of
you make-
living life without a plan. Is I've had no choice.
kind of feel like I live life without a plan and still can't improv, but basically I'm just applauding you because you're so freaking
Thank
good
you.
at it.
I'm going to completely defer that compliment to the fact that it's a safe table. It's a group of people that, like, under Philip's guidance and knowing Casey at the table and you in IRL, it's easy to take risks and go, yeah, we'll just see what happens because they won't hate me afterwards, no matter what.
Probably.
Other than
There's the Eric
jealousy.
thing.
I
We won't-
take it for
Right.
And Eric's not here, so what a game, you guys! What a game! Oh, what a joy!
I
Can we
invited
keep this
him.
room open?
For our last couple sessions because his play ended, and he said no. He said he didn't.
Graciously,
So,
to
I mean,
the opposite of
yeah.
our chagrin.
Yeah. No, I was going to have him either join you guys as one of the other blades that got snuck into the city or play Lucan.
Yep.
Okay. Our next question comes from Steve. The first part of this is not a question, it's just a compliment. I loved how all the Queen's Blade PCs were hard personality shifts away from their respective players' B&B characters. What will you miss about these characters, and what have you missed about your Blades and Banner character?
I can definitely say, first of all, I've missed Aggie from I don't know if that's a real answer. I think I will probably miss the potential of what Trifton can do as a monk. I tried to move away from a smashy barbarian type of character with Sohaina because that's my natural inclination in life, is to get up and smash. And the fact that I could actually, somewhat unsuccessfully, but that I could actually smash with Trifton was nice. But I also I didn't have it in my head that I could do it either. I was like, right, no, Mia, you're a smasher. You can smash. It's okay.
It's true.
I will miss Trifton's potential, and seeing, like, were I able to sink more into that character, I would have been able to utilize their natural abilities better, instead of being so cautious about all of it and always wondering what the heck I could do.
I'll miss Taliesin's swagger. It was nice to play someone swashbuckling. Like, I have not played a confident character in any way, really, and so that was fun to get to. It'll be nice to get back to Finian, the subdued position is fun, but I don't know. I enjoyed having a little bit of flair, panache.
I'm really surprised that you feel like Finian is not confident. Maybe just not in the same way.
It's a different. There's no swagger to Finian to me. There's which is oxymoronic for the creation, because when I pitched him to Philip, I was like, I'm gonna be Pirate Iron Man. Which I think I'm nailing, but it's not Tony Stark outside of the suit, which is where things are a little different. He's kind of a little bit more latter half Christopher Nolan, Bruce Wayne. He's just like kind of beaten up by the world. But comparing that to Taliesin just being so gung-ho about existing and trying things, and it's a big shift. So I don't know. It's going to be weird to go back to Finian and be like, all right, calm down. Calm down.
I'm excited to go back to Ellie's just chaotic existence. I enjoy her her quirkiness. And but on the other hand, I enjoyed Murray's sort of straightforwardness more than I anticipated I was going to. And I think part of it is with Ellie Wise, I enjoy the fun things that I can do, but there's also just infinite opportunities. Like, I often rethink, oh, it would have been funny if, or, oh, I wish I would have done this slightly different thing. And with Murray, I felt much more confident about the choices I was making as her player. It was more straightforward to me. And part of that was the investigation. Like, this is what I think we would do next. And this is the thread I have to pull on. But I enjoyed both characters, but I did miss Ellie Weiss. I'm excited.
Yay.
I have enjoyed, in being your longtime GM, I have enjoyed every occasion where you have taken a hard shift into a highly competent character, of just a very like together character. That's always a fun shift because you like quirky characters so much, and so that's normal and delightful. But on the handful of occasions where you've taken a shift into an obviously much more mature and together competent character, that's always really interesting. There was a kind of a short-lived character you played in one of our home games in the One Ring where you just played. It was a game set entirely in Bree. Everybody was a villager of Bree, and you played a bartender at the Prancing Pony, who had kids and was divorced. I think was a single mom with kids, and sometimes adventurer. And I was just like, this is awesome. This is the most not what I expected ever. It's great.
Humorously, she had 2 boys, and that was before I had 2 boys.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That was. I forgot about that. That's funny. Also, Steve would like to point out that while Blades and Banners obviously refers to, or B&B obviously refers to Blades and Banners, he is now picturing the crew of the Traveler's Gift running a bed and breakfast and believes it would be weirdly similar to the inn from Gilmore Girls.
Steve is just dooming me back into a kitchen because that is the only place Finian would be found in a B&B.
He'd be the handyman. Be the
whatever keeps him. No, because then he has to go to the guest's room. He's only going to repair rooms after the guests have left. That's it. Don't make me talk to people.
Ellie Wise will be giving you lots of suggestions of what you could add to the pancakes.
All of them ingredients stolen from a vampire.
How dare.
Just
I can imagine Sohaina as probably the hostess.
Yeah. Oh God, what a great receptionist. Like as you walk in, greeting. Hi, welcome. Just a loud thumping from under the desk. I don't know what is happening in this place. There's a small earthquake in the lobby.
Now I need this to happen.
I can't remember. I guess it wasn't an RPG. Kelly and I were at a game store yesterday, and we were just browsing games for ideas for Christmas shopping. And we found not a full RPG system, but it was like a co-op RPG in a box game. And it was definitely a cozy RPG. Like it was like Stardew Valley, the co-op RPG. And that's what this makes me think of. Which is what I think any RPG that attempts to use hobbits and be set in the Shire should be, is a cozy RPG about the social problems of hobbits rather than trying to actually get them to go on adventures. But Colin, Emily asks, Is Taliesin normally
Hi, Emily.
this flirty and willing to drink on the job, or are these coping mechanisms because it's the anniversary of the morning and Taliesin is from Kyre?
Yes. Correct.
Emily just improved your character, didn't she?
For real. For real. I'll tell you, flirty kind of accidentally happened. I said earlier that there was a moment, and my castmates here are tired of me saying this, but there's a moment in Inception where Tom Hardy comes up beside Leonardo DiCaprio, who's firing a pistol, and he says, "You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling." And that line popped into my head for some reason. I was like, that's Taliesin. And so he was always just going to be a little bit sparkly and just a little bit extra. And then Philip just swaggered on up, just sauntered up to me, and this character arrived in the Discord at the same time that he's voicing him, and I was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, Taliesin's super into this. Like, it doesn't matter if it's serious or not. So he's always that zesty. That flirty is reserved. Drinking on the job, y'all, to be honest, I did not think Philip was going to make a deal out of it. Like, to be completely honest, it was a nip from a flask early in the morning on some dog water assignment as it was being pitched. And then all of a sudden, it's like a character redefining moment. And I was like, am I a lush? Is that what this is? I don't know. And so that one was just, and rightfully so, but you know, it was just supposed to be a little lighthearted throwaway moment of the character. And Philip was like, you're defined by this now. Enjoy this.
I seized on it because you did it in the presence of people with an interest in discrediting you.
Absolutely.
So it was
you are not unjustified.
It was a way for the Silver Shields and Sir Garrick and Cardinal Crozin to have something undeniable and clearly unprofessional that happened that can be thrown at you as often as they feel like it.
Yeah, I get it. I just was not thinking in that moment when I was like, this would be funny.
It was.
It kind of was.
I was gonna, it was. You weren't wrong.
And
I also like.
Oh,
go ahead.
I thought it was extremely easy to visualize. Like, I immediately understood that as part of Taliesin, and it made total sense.
I also really, I think part of why I seized on it was I remember watching Casey's face when you offered some to Trifton and Trifton took it, and then you offered it to Murray, and Casey went, "No."
So good.
That's what I was thinking.
9 in the morning, and we're working.
Murray was so offended.
Not getting hammered here. Like, this is supposed to be a pomp and circumstance day. It's whatever. I want to be the only sober person in Flamekeep. Come on now.
Emily also asks Mia and Casey, how well would your Queen's Blade PC get along with your Blades and Banners PC? And she clarifies that she's not asking Colin because he had already said that Taliesin and Finian would not get along.
I think that Ellie Wise would get along fine with Murray. I think Murray would really struggle with Ellie Wise.
Honestly, I was thinking something extremely similar. I think Sohaina would adore Trifton. No reason not to. And Trifton, I think, would take Sohaina absolutely in stride. Not like, I don't think Trifton would struggle like Murray would struggle with Ellie Wise, but probably more amused by Sohaina, but not bothered.
Yeah. I don't get this reference, to be clear.
I know.
But Laura says, describe your perfect date. One of you better get that reference. And it's not me, I'm sorry to say.
I feel like this is a great opportunity for us as a group to discuss what it's like to be disappointed. Because that's where Laura's about to be.
Oh no, I just don't know what the actual date is. Do you know the reference, Mia?
No.
It's November 12th.
No, stop it. No.
Right now.
No, I am wondering,
what is this from?
Is it from
It's the pageant, and they say, what is, you describe your perfect date is what they're asking.
Miss Congeniality?
Yeah, it's like a dating question. Like on the dating show type of thing? Or?
No, it's a pageant, right?
It's from a movie.
Is it
Miss Congeniality?
No, it's earlier than Miss Congeniality. It's the one with when
you Google it, the answer is April 25th. That's from Miss Congeniality. Describe your perfect date.
Oh,
April 25th.
I'm so sorry.
I remember this now
So
because it's not too cold and it's not
it.
too hot.
God.
I could picture it, but man, I kept thinking a different movie. Sorry.
No, I was just assuming it was from Kyber Shards, like having something to do with Esri and the map seller. Like I was just going into Kyber Shards lore. So
what's Kyber Shards?
My answer is, for the last couple of years, Kelly and my anniversary date is we go on a bookstore crawl around Dallas.
Yeah, that is the perfect date. That actually is.
So I find 4 or 5 bookstores around Dallas, and we drive around to them, and I require her to buy something at every one of them.
The demands you place on your wife. We have to address this.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, was it my character's perfect date? Was it Trifton's perfect date? And even if it were, I don't have an answer.
I cannot describe Taliesin's on this channel. Surprising no one.
That's really good.
Yeah, I think Trifton's would be hiking and rock climbing. That's okay. Where I've got.
Sure.
Right.
Nice.
Go do some CrossFit together.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're having fun.
Josh asks, Mia and Colin, being relatively newer to TTRPGs, how did you find this sort of short form game compared to the long form campaigns you are playing or have played in? What sort of differences did you find in how you engage with your characters, knowing there's a reasonably firm end point versus the open-ended stories?
Yeah, go.
Okay. I think when I allowed myself to think about it, because I was trying not to think about the fact that this was short-lived. I'm not good at detaching from things once I've attached to them. But I think I would have just felt maybe more confused. Like, how does this end? How can this end? Like, like, how do you end this story? It just started. I think that's all of the confusion that you're hearing in the way I'm speaking now is how I felt about that.
I find it easier because the first experience I ever had with the TTRPG was Philip leading myself and a few friends through, what did we play? 4 hours? Yeah. In that little one shot, the train heist. And so then going from that to Kyber Shards and playing for hundreds of hours, I have a much harder time thinking about how to let go of that. Because knowing from the outset, like, hey, I'm going to play this guy for maybe 20 hours in Taliesin. Like, I can do whatever I want, and then he stops existing entirely. As opposed to Pogharad, where I was like, man, I don't know how to let this person that I am so thoroughly enjoying go and not have them come back. So knowing from the outset of Queen's Blades that it was going to be short, I found it so much easier and so much less daunting than sitting down and going, all right, don't fall in love, because even though it might be 3 years from now, you're going to let this person go. Is just a different, and that's the actor side of me as well, that, man, I have to never be this again.
Yeah.
I really liked being this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Laura asks,
Can
how
I
would
ask
you
a quick
feel if
question?
your
I'm
character...
so sorry.
Please do. Please.
Do you find your experience with Pog coloring your other characters and the way that you play them?
Yeah. And it takes a conscious effort. There are some times that I actually have to be very mindful before we record of letting something new happen, because after about the first 10 episodes, I hated Finian.
Interesting.
And I was like, I got to kill this guy. I got to find a way to have Philip let me roll.
I came really close. If you told me,
you did, and I didn't fight it. I distinctly was like, hey, maybe this is it, and that was after I had come around on it. But I was like, cool, the gods have declared I am done. But I hated him because. And all of you happily married people, it's the same as when you've ended a relationship and you start another one, and it's so hard not to hold things from the last against the new. And so it was me going, man, I don't have a fist bump. There's not an inside joke. I don't have a make more blood. I don't have a catchphrase. Like, I don't have these fun things for my character. And he hasn't lived for, 75 hours before he became the Kolos Crusher. And I had all this pressure of like, man, no one's going to like Finian. The added pressure of loving the people at the table and wanting to be a valid participant, and knowing that people are watching this going, I didn't make Pog 2. This guy's not fun. And so, yeah, like it's one of those self-imposed torments of, man, I stop worrying about performing. Just let Finian get born, let him come around. And yeah, Pog just accidentally was someone that I fell so naturally into, and that just got deeper. That it absolutely has informed, and he's kind of been a curse. He's kind of a burden of me being like, don't try to be funny. Pog just was. That wasn't me. That was Pog. Like, that's tough. It's weirdly tough for just rolling dice with my friends.
I'm so glad Casey asked that question. That was so interesting to hear. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. I'm terrified of having answered that honestly.
Well, speaking of this, Laura asks, how would you feel if your character had a dramatic death, since it was just a mini campaign?
Similar to something Mia said earlier, I have a really hard time letting go. Even with such a short campaign, I would have a hard time letting go, and then I, as a player, would have a hard time. Whenever a character dies, I feel like I've done something wrong. Like I played incorrectly, resulting in their death. And like intellectually, I know that doesn't necessarily have to be true. But if I have a character that dies, I have a hard time with that. Just trying to figure out like, what should I have done? Did that make sense? Overthinking it.
It's a good thing Casey's and my eyes are both brown, because it feels like we would have done a Sohina Ellie-Wise eye swap, soul swap experience, because just all I could say is ditto. That's exactly. Yeah. And especially with the way I was rolling, or the dice were rolling, or whatever, I was just whiffing so many things. So I would have felt awful if Trifton died, because I was like, well, you took a cool character, Mia, and you just threw it in the dumpster.
I'm nodding because I understand, not because I agree with what you're saying. But yes, I understand the I did something to that character. It could have been cool if but no, you recovered that so well. And it is hard to remember that, like, you said you kept whiffing it. Like, no, the dice were cruel to you. Like, that was not on you.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
I weirdly decided to play a character who was so confident that even while I grew precious of him, I had to maintain, like, hey man, if this guy dies, it makes perfect sense. Because I just keep jumping up on stuff. Right. Like, just keep answering the wrong person, showing that I'm not smarter, but I am wittier. Like, this is going to be how he dies. I have foreshadowed the way Taliesin will be ended. It just so happened that it didn't happen in this campaign, and so it was genuinely every encounter I was like, hey, especially when you split us up. God. And I was like, yeah, there's not going to be any way for him to come back. There is no magic MacGuffin here that you're going to help me out with. And nope, Taliesin going to die right now. And that's okay, because he's going to go out with swag.
It's true.
That's amazing.
I got this one because Emily asks, Philip, roughly when in the Kyber Shards timeline does this take place? When we met Taurus and Lucan for the first time, they both seemed pretty settled in Stormreach. So I'm wondering if this is more likely a visit or before a move for each of them. Or is this yet another timeline?
So when we started this, I intended this to have no real connection, no real connective tissue to the other campaigns. And then we got into it and I just couldn't help myself. So I went back to check and to see whether I had given dates for the starting time of Kyber Shards, and I couldn't find them if I did. But if I'm remembering right and my notes from way back then are correct, Kyber Shards picked up with the day you guys met Donabella Brightdoom is the same day that all of this happened.
That is so cool.
So that's like episode 4 or 5 of Kyber Shards is after we've done all the prologue stuff, after you guys have dragged yourselves across the continent and we've established you in Stormreach. The first day of actual adventuring would have been, if I did this the normal way, and I can't think why I would have done it otherwise, because the standard start date for an Eberron campaign is the anniversary of the Day of Mourning in the year 998. And so this and that would have been the same day. You meet Taurus several days, maybe a week or so later, because there's the whole mess that happens with Donabella, and then you guys get the Boggle job, and that's when we met Taurus in Kyber Shards. So my intent was that Taurus's presence here is kind of a little Easter egg that hints at the Knights of Thrain in Stormreach being more than a community safety patrol that they kind of pitch themselves as. That actually this is a Thranish monarchist hotspot that's maybe just keeping hope alive, or maybe working towards something. And then Lucan shows up substantially later, not super far in, but you guys are in the mansion by the time Lucan shows up. And so this was maybe this is the job where Lucan gets promoted, or more correctly, when members of the Dark Lanterns go abroad on jobs, they always go under the cover of being some other aspect of the King's Citadel. And so when Lucan says that he's a member of the King, well, he doesn't actually, he's very careful not to specifically say he's a member of the King's Shields. But when Lucan suggests that he's a member of the King's Shields and he's just here on bodyguard work and that he's left his charge to kind of just find out what's happening, that's all a lie. He's a Dark Lantern, and he's trying to find out what is happening and whether there's any advantage for his king in it. But he extends some professional courtesy to Murray in any case. That was genuine. But also I like, it didn't actually turn into a moment in the role play, but in my head I was just cackling at you decide to show him the piece of armor that you got, and it's wrapped around your thigh. And so I suddenly realized I'm in the position of, okay, he wants to examine this, but it's like wrapped around this woman's thigh, and Lucan's many things, but he's not a creep. So how do I do this?
Clearly, Murray just needed to extend her leg, a la Owly-wise.
Are you trying to seduce
The
me?
imagery, like, I could see it in my head too, and I was thinking through, like, okay, but she's so pragmatic. Like, she wouldn't unwrap it. Like, if they need to run, it doesn't make sense to take it off. Like, she needs to be able to go. So, guess she'll just do this.
Right. Yeah, that was nice. Anyway, so that's this, if I've done my calculations correctly and if my notes from long ago are accurate, which they may not be, then this day is the day that the Strike Force meets Donabella Brightdoom, and things follow on from there. So
what a day it was.
Indeed.
This is just making me clamor for the Laughing Tree Extended Universe. Just FYI.
I just really wanted, like, I liked, Lucan was just such a fun antagonist and a sort of complicated villain in Whispers of the Vampire Blade and in the way that we ran it. And so I always wanted him to be a recurring character, and I tried to kind of put him into Kyber Shards a little bit early. I didn't end up doing it as successfully as I wanted, because I kind of wanted him to show up in Kyber Shards a few times so that you guys would get to like him. And then everything happens with the sword. But I wanted to revisit Lucan as a spy being a spy, rather than this guy was a James Bond type secret agent, and then the sword has taken over him. So, yeah. So I enjoyed that little connectivity back to Kyber Shards, and that's honestly what convinced me to not make it its own little standalone thing, but to give it a connection to our other games.
So. I'm so glad you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun. And then we have 3 questions from Steve. I don't know why I overpronounced your name there, Steve.
That was a lot of Steve. Philip, bravo on creating such a tidy, well-constructed conspiracy. The dice during this campaign were less than friendly at times. Was the fail state always intended to have the players delivered to the manor where Trifton overheard the plot? Or was there the possibility that the players would simply actually fail to prevent Crozen's blatant power grab?
It was possible that they save the city but fail to stop what Crozen is intending. And there were a couple of ways in which it came kind of close to that. I knew it was going to end with this big fight against an Oni, and I had sort of worked that out. I didn't know where that was going to take place, but the thing that was fixed was Crozen has arranged this through an intermediary who cannot be too closely looped back to him, and Garrick has either done a bad job or been fooled by the people that he's hired, and so one of them is going to unleash this thing at the end, and the player character is going to have to deal with it. As to the rest, yeah, what's still there when you've succeeded, it was very much an open question depending on decisions that they made. There were consequences for any of the tasks that they failed at. Most of them having to do with the goal of Crozen to get the Queen's Blades disbanded, or with some sort of direct danger to Diani. So this isn't a sandbox, this is a theme park. There's one entrance and there's one exit. You have to leave through the gift shop, but what path you take, what rides you go on was open.
Oh my God, I love that.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't take credit for that. Chris Perkins described adventures that way. So my sort of, I guess, intended path to a degree was I intended to split you all up. I didn't know who would go do what. I intended for all of you to meet someone who could be adversarial or could be helpful. In Lady Cyrilla, Lucan, and the mysterious person in the sewer. And depending on how you guys interacted with them, you'd get information, maybe get some help, and then hopefully succeed at your various tasks, and then go back. And then from there, my plotted path led you back to the inn, to the Quaddle Feather, to the inn, where the mage was holed up. At which point you guys would have been dealing with the mage, but also ambushed by the Silver Shields, who are now going to try and pin this on you. And then actually, maybe in the chaos of that, the mage and or the Oni escapes, and at that point the final climactic encounter takes place in an attempt on Diani back at the palace, or perhaps on the speaker. Wow. I hadn't really decided. Or a keeper. And so that was sort of the rough outline there. When it became evident to me that Trifton was going to fail in their path, because the dice were so miserably hard on you. The dice were set on telling that story. I started to think, what happens next what do they do without any reinforcements? Are they going to feel like they can't leave Diani? Like I was kind of thinking through different paths, and then you proposed a way to succeed in spite of your failure by accepting a consequence. And so I ran with that, and that's how we ended up back at the estate, the Bainar estate, to have the final climactic fight there instead. So that's sort of the loose structure that I had set up in my notes. But there were a lot of different paths to get to that fight, and where that confrontation was going to take place could have varied a lot depending on how things had gone.
Can I, is this the time where I get to ask what would have happened if I treated Elid Thane differently? You had said, wait till you find out. Okay.
It wasn't so much how you treated Elid Thane. It was much more, are you willing to talk to this person who has appeared to you in a somewhat threatening manner? And it was the person stuck up behind you. They didn't actually try to stab you. They I mean, and yes, if you had treated Elid Thane differently, then the way you met that person would have been different as well. But also there were several opportunities to stop and talk that Trifton declined. That person was a member of a secretive organization that has goals that were at that point somewhat aligned to yours, and would have then provided you with the necessary tools to open the grate, and would have led you to the right secret entrance, and helped you sneak the blades in, and possibly had been able to give you more information. So particularly about the nature of the fiends. And so that was the information. Those were the clues that person had.
Got you.
But obviously Trifton passed on that.
On purpose too. It was totally well thought out and intentional.
Well, at least that one was a choice. That wasn't the dice.
Yeah. Shh. Going with the other path now. No, thank you for explaining that. Yeah.
And I don't know if I said this on air. When I had you roll just a random dot, when I asked you evens or odds, it was to see whether the stream swept you down the right tunnel or the wrong tunnel. And because what the dice were, of course, wrong tunnel.
That is phenomenal. Even in that, the dice were telling their own story. That is amazing.
Yep. The dice were really, really set on something.
All right.
The fight at the manor was pretty epic, though. So
it was.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. And then, of course, the other thing that didn't happen is I did not manage to arrange a one-on-one duel between Andri and Taliesin. So I have some dueling rules set aside for how a single combat can work in a way that's more interesting than just rolling to hit over and over again. Wow. And so I had that set, but it did not. So the circumstances did not end up allowing for it. So
was that a circumstance thing as well, or was that choices that Colin had made for Taliesin?
It was a combination. Some of it was Colin making choices, and then the last one was definitely the circumstances that everything had come together at the moment where the house is about to explode. And while Andri is sinister, he's not an idiot. And so something just picked up a human and threw them through a window. Fair. We should probably check it out.
Valid.
Whatever else is happening. So yes. So that's kind of where that was. Steve asks the players, how did you like such an investigation-heavy game? Steve personally says, I love them, but keeping track of the various threads while recording and playing characters with unfamiliar mechanics seems like it would be challenging.
That is definitely where my head was. I'm always worried because of my ADHD, which has gotten much worse. I was very concerned when I realized that this was an investigation, and I was just thinking, I'm not going to be able to track all of this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So that's where I was with it. I definitely, when we were split up, I was like, well, I have no idea how to do any of this. I've never been a character alone by myself, and I hope I'm understanding the threads okay. So
there's a
it
lot
was
more pressure
nerve-wracking
put on the individual when we split that way. Like,
yes,
understanding even like within the scene, the composition, because then when other people take their turns, you're able to go like, oh, okay, I've misunderstood.
right.
But that is hard. I love investigations. I like personally, I love mysteries. The player that I tend to be is the one who, my characters don't always do this, but as a player, I would uncover and turn over every rock, every thread. I love them. I get really nervous that I don't remember everything. That comes up regularly on all of the shows that I've participated in. Y'all are so gracious. I say something that we clearly knew and we're absolutely told. And I'll say something wrong and you'll be like, well, of course, you know that this is actually true. And so I like investigations. I used to be a lot more nervous about them, but I've played with Philip long enough to know that he's not just going to watch us flounder. And so Mia, I totally understand what you're talking about. Just like that. And I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but like that fear of, am I doing this right? And I definitely felt that earlier on when I played with Philip. And now I know that like, if I'm doing something that makes zero sense, or if I have misunderstood, like he will correct. He will readjust and re-clarify what's going on. And that Colin, you mentioned a safe table, and that's how I felt about this. I enjoy investigations. I don't enjoy looking stupid. But I know that I mean, it may be the outcome. Like I still make decisions that don't make sense, but that it'll be okay. Like we'll get through it fine.
That's awesome.
I am glad you enjoy investigations because I am stoked that I was the person whose responsibility was talk to someone, because investigations scare the crap out of me in these games. They are overwhelming. Yeah, I like to consume mysteries, not to participate in them.
Got it.
And that I mean, if I'm not doing it on stream, I will look up the solution to a puzzle after 10 minutes in a game. Like it's not what I'm there for. I'm here for a story when I'm playing something, or I'm here for action when I'm playing something, and especially when I'm sitting at this version of face to face going, okay, don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. He's not going to make this impossible.
Oh my
Why
God.
why am I the special kind of stupid that can't figure this out right now? And then I just am internally like, don't be the one to mess all of this up. So yeah, there is just so much pressure in my mind whenever there's an investigation. So when it was like, oh, I need to ask someone something, I can talk. that I'm good at. I got that part handled.
I love hearing how similar our experiences were in one respect. And I'm just imagining Philip sitting here going, so I've terrorized all of them. That's good to know.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, get ready. Everything is puzzles and investigations going forward. That's where we're
Oops, all
headed.
riddles. I mean, that's the reason that's so hilarious is on Eberron Renewed, where Eric is the GM. He loves to give us puzzles to solve, and we are famously bad at it. Like, we are just incapable of it. And so, yeah. So, like, I can't design a dungeon puzzle to save my life. Like, and I have decided a long time ago, you know what? That's fine. You have the internet, and there are literally thousands of people who run D&D who post the puzzles that they use online and the solutions. And so I have never felt any shame about being really bad at designing puzzles. So designing this was really tricky in that I needed there to be clues. But yeah, I mean, having it kind of bounded in space and in time, and using I really liked the dice counters. I don't know if that was as helpful to you all, but to me, having something sort of concrete that says, okay, at each step of this, I can give another little piece of this clue. And giving me a way to feed clues, even if you guys aren't always finding them, was really helpful. So yeah, I'm glad that it was challenging, but in a fun way, and not challenging in a frustrating way, other than the dice rolls, which definitely moved towards frustrating, I think. I mean, I know we all say it's the story. It's a storytelling game, and stories without conflict are boring. But at the same time, man, like,
I would like to go on record as reminding everyone here, I've never said that crap. Never once. I want to do cool stuff. I want to succeed. Okay, like all of these
eventually
coping mechanism catchphrases. Like, yeah, cool, whatever. But I want to do a backflip off this balcony. I don't know what to tell you. I can't pretend like I don't like doing cool stuff.
If I want to trip over the lip of a windowsill, I can do that in real life.
You guys don't know me well enough if you think that's beyond my capabilities. I can fall right now. Okay? I can fail this conversation. It's totally possible. I want to do cool stuff.
Oh my God.
I really try to make failing a dice roll not your character's dumb or incompetent now.
Yeah.
Like, failing a dice roll means something happens that you didn't intend to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean you fell on your face and you look like a dummy and everybody points and laughs. I try to avoid that. Sometimes the comedy is hard to resist, but Murray, and in the final combat, Murray failing to jump from the wall to the window shouldn't be Murray just jump. It shouldn't be, The Simpsons and Murray jumps and then just thump into the ground.
Right.
So it's got to be a magic missile hits the wall and it crumbles under Murray's foot. And that's why Murray tumbles to the ground instead of jumping to the wind. Like, I think it's a little harder, but I think it makes failing feel less. The fiction I have in my head for my character is being denied to me, or something like that. And that's tricky. But yeah, the dice were not nice for a good bit of that game.
I really like the way you did exactly that. The way you turned the failures didn't feel like failures. It was just something happened to prevent you from doing the thing that you wanted to do. So yeah.
Good. Our final question, also from Steve, says, lastly, a general question about games involving the uncovering of a conspiracy that's unrelated to this specific campaign. How do you manage a situation in which, from the GM's perspective, enough clues have been revealed to the players that they ought to know the broad strokes, but for whatever reason, they just can't seem to put it together in a cohesive whole? How do you strike a balance between filling in the gaps from the players and letting them struggle? So my thought is, just even speaking to it from a home game perspective and not from a is this fun to watch perspective, watching the players beat their head against the wall is not fun. And speaking as a player who's really bad at puzzles, who's in this, I'm pretty good at regular puzzles, but for whatever reason, putting them in D&D, it's the reverse of my improvisational ability. I have no ability as an improviser in like an improv environment. Like when I did theater in college and we had to improv, horrible at it.
It's just crazy.
I know it's so weird to hear that.
I know.
Colin can attest. Like Colin has watched me try to do improv. It's bad.
You don't got nothing nice to say. You don't say nothing, you know? Like he knows I love him, that we all have strengths. His improv sitting at a table is next level. Him on the boards was that exact same instinct that you're describing about puzzles. I just wanted to jump in and save you. Here's where we go next, buddy.
Yeah, I have no ability whatsoever. Unless it calls for a funny voice, I can do that. But
a funny walk. Give you.
That's true.
Your physicality.
Yes, that's on purpose. I make a choice to have a
I'm not
funny.
Talking about this guy.
No, that is true. I'm pretty good at a funny physicality. This is so unreal. This is so off topic, but I just remember after the first time you directed me in something that people came to a theater and watched. This was your directing class scene from Accidental Death of an Anarchist, and then you directed me again in Company of Wayward Saints, and one of the theater props, I can't remember which of them it was, but one of the theater props went to you and said, I don't know what it is, but you bring out the genius in Philip.
That was a company.
And I really liked that someone said that to you, but I also thought to myself, I've been in other things that weren't directed by Colin. What are you saying about all the other directing scenes that I was in? Because I was in everybody's directing scene. And what are you saying about the thing I was in that you directed?
That's fantastic.
Yeah. But to Steve's question, what I try to do, and what I tried to do here, is in my planning for it, I tried to think of a lot of different places where information could be found, so that if they are stuck and a role supports it, so that it doesn't seem like I'm just bailing them out, but if something they do supports it, I have a way to give them more information. So Murray did not have as hard a time at the crime scene as Trifton did in the tunnels, but it was close. And there was a point at which Murray was just going to have to bail, or this was going to just turn into a chase scene. But Murray rolling really good on perception checks meant that I could say, Murray, you see that someone else is watching this, and that gives me an in to introduce somebody else who's been trying to figure things out and can maybe provide some information to you. And so that gives me an opportunity to introduce Lucan, which is both fun and useful to you. So getting all the things on the board is useful. And I, to some degree, I can't necessarily say that I was completely successful in providing all of the clues that get them to where they need to go. Because ultimately the way I got them to where they needed to go is I kidnapped one of them and dragged them there unconscious.
Super effective.
Yeah,
the dice and character decisions caused that to happen, but that sure saved me a lot of need for clues to point them to get them to that inn that I was going to get them to that I didn't end up needing to get them to. So yeah, I mean, the final encounter changed substantially because it also involved Trifton being captured, and that's the thing as a GM is you just have to not tie it all together too tightly, because the players are going to do something that makes you need to adapt. And
right.
if the scheme is too tight and has to take place here, then when Trifton is captured, I'm like, well, it doesn't make any. They're not going to take Trifton to the inn. That's dumb. Why would they take Trifton there? But also I want to set up, this big encounter. And so, okay, well, Garrick has also been trying to find this loose end, to find this this mage, and so these two things can coincide, and that gets us the last little bit of the way, and allows an opportunity to also have some proof, which was also an important element of this. That was a very real possibility, is you guys get to the end of this, what happened, but you have no way of proving it, and so it doesn't end up stopping Crozen's plan. I definitely built it so that even if you got to the end and you could prove what happened, there was no way for you to prove Crozen was involved, even though Crozen was involved. That was my goal from the beginning, is you guys are not taking down Crozen. Like, he is just so much more powerful than you on every metric, that this is not a story where you bring down Crozen. So I hope that was enjoyable, that the bad guy gets to walk away smiling, even if he's angry at you and is now going to try and ruin Taliesin's life.
Try as he might.
As a player, can I share something that I think that you do well that I find helpful, is that when we do find clues, you don't just objectively describe them, you interpret them for us as we find the clues. And I find that incredibly helpful. You describe, like, you find it unusual that this is here because of this reason. And I think that helps prevent a little bit of the whole players beating their heads on the table, because I'm 4 inferences away from the answer, and you've helped me get 2 or 3 steps towards it, rather than my lack of knowledge of the world, or my lack of knowledge of the details you've given. You have helped to fill in those blanks.
Cool. I'm glad that is helpful.
Yeah, like with the journal that you found with the scrap of paper that fell out, and Philip let you know there's no way this would have been done. Any self-respecting spy would not have done this accidentally, like that. Yeah,
Murray would know that. Casey would not. She'd be like, how convenient.
Right.
Yeah.
I would make a terrible spy, y'all.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, cool.
Thank you.
Well, that is our last question. So thank you so much to our viewers for the questions and for the many encouraging comments on this this set of videos. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot of kind of lighthearted fun, and I enjoyed running a very swashbuckly campaign. So hopefully everyone thought that was great. Next week, we'll have a recap episode that will provide a quick recap of the first part of Blades and Banners. And then the following week, we'll be back with a new episode of Blades and Banners. So we are excited to bring it excited to bring it back for December. So we'll be back with Blades and Banners on December 1st. And until then, thanks for rolling with us.